I'm glad to see you.
We had our morning dance. Yay!
Afternoon, like it's just this matcha latte that I'm drinking. It's a matcha latte, hushu, wushu, rishi, wagga, chago, something, everything latte with almond milk. No, sorry, today I opted for oat milk.
Oh wow!
Oh my god, I think
Special day.
Rather bouncy today after the declassification. That
good things are coming. Can't touch us.
I know. I mean, have you? Okay, so let's just breathe. Oh, I normally do a quick prayer, if you don't mind.
No, I love it. What do you mean?
Before I start, and I got so MC hammered up just now watching this thing about Biden saying I can't touch this that I forgot to do my prayer because somebody, you know, gets too carried away like a child. I seriously. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Right, I'll calm down. I get too excited what I do. So just a 2-minute prayer. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyam Amrita. Om Shanti 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 Om. Oh, Mel, thank you for allowing me to do that. I do that all the time before my show.
No, I love it.
Normally off screen, but I think, you know, there's just so much going on that prayer is important, and I make sure that I start my day with prayer before I do any of my shows. It's with prayer, and yeah, that's why it keeps me crazy. Prayer keeps me crazy.
No, I pray every day. Believe me, it is a big, huge part of my life. That's one of our spiritual connections.
You look very beautiful today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I finally, after hibernating for 10 months, just went and was like, I'm getting my hair cut and colored. I like have been living like it's just an alternate universe. And
I said all the time, aren't we? So it's just like we're working in our pajamas. You know?
It's so bad. It's so bad, but it's so good because guess what happened? We all got a chance to take a personal reset. You know, we all got a chance. There's silver linings here, and the best is about to pop.
The best is yet to come. Yesterday, I had the most amazing chat. There's Jason Q, Mark Atwood, and it was just full of positivity with Colleen and Jolie. Because there's been a bit of a deflating energy or deflated energy around post the 6th. And then, you know, all this stuff about Biden potentially being inaugurated, and it's just completely put people off kilter. And then I'm just MC hammering it, you know, because I'm, you know, I might actually now have I missed something here? Because I'm like, okay, do I need to get stressed out? Like, do I need to worry? But I'm not worrying.
Me neither. I didn't at all. I didn't at all because, you know, let me tell you something. There was no way. There is no way, but there was no way that our military and the alliance, people have to understand, Donald Trump is one of many world leaders that have been working together. It's not been clear because they had to catch them. Yeah. But like we talked about last time, I believe that at the G20 2 years ago, when Putin was invited, that all the evidence of the child and human trafficking and all of that was presented to everyone, and that they got together worldwide, the good guys, the white hats, and decided to take down the cabal, realizing that the enemy of them was all the enemy. It was everyone's enemy. And I think that after all these years of, you know, gaslighting, debt slavery, the central bankers, and now tied with the CCP and the UN, I think all the world leaders that actually do care about their people realized it was time, now or never, get rid of them. And I think they've led them into a trap. They led them into a trap, and they let this go this far. A lot of good news is coming out about the truth about what really happened in DC.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal because just like we talked about once, the Seth Rich murder, even if they didn't mean to murder him, what they did, as Rahm Emanuel, the very demonic Secretary of State to Obama, said, to never put a good crisis to waste. Well, they turned that Seth Rich murder into Russia, Russia, Russia.
Yeah.
You know, and
deflected from it.
Right, right, and that's what I believe happened this week.
Yeah.
You know, what my intel tells me is that they caught him cold. They know that it was planned. They know that Pelosi and McConnell and Muriel Bowser, who runs the defunct corporation of the United States, that they were all warned days before that there was going to be an insurgence of some sort, and they did nothing. And worse than that, they didn't tell President Trump. So even if he, had he known, he could have canceled it. But everything that they've done from then on, all treason. All treason.
Well, everything, and it's all been meticulously planned. This has all been this has all been like dealt with. This is a movie playing out. And one of the things I was saying in my shows yesterday, that this panic and everyone feeling a bit deflated, I get it, because it's not easy on, I mean, I'm sure it's not easy on you as well, you know, the emotional toll this is taking on all of us, but we've hung out for so long, and it's so important now to keep centered in faith, and keep your sort of vibrations high, like, you know, the humor and all of that. And for me today, as soon as I saw Obamagate, I was just like that word, because I have been waiting for this, because I've been introduced to all of this way back in the end of March it was. And the thing that really hurt actually in all of this was Obama.
Right, I know. And
that really hurt. Like, I thought, wow, the level of deception and the narcissist sociopath that he is. And that's what's happened. It's one of the things that we're going to speak about in another show, and you're more than welcome to join that one, is the rise of narcissism and sociopaths and psychopaths in the world. And that's all come from the top, you know, from the governments. And then it's just that energy is permeated through to grassroots. And, you know, I've dealt with a load of like narcissists in my life, and I'm an expert. I, you know, read so much about it, the psychology behind it, and everything about what's been happening in government makes sense to me. And that's what we've been dealing with a whole load of, you know, sociopath, narcissistic people. And Obama was someone that I'm like, I cannot wait. And I have fallen out with everyone because I said, well, they fell out with me, to be fair. How could you say that about Obama? And I kind of get it, because that sting, how much it hurt. So, you know, this morning when I saw a post saying that, you know, Trump is starting the declassification, and it was that was the subject. I mean, you can shed a bit more light on this, because this is what I love about you, Mel. I know sort of the titles of all the categories, and then you just fill in the content, which I love, because
I'm a big history buff and a research fan, and you know, I also, from the very beginning of this journey, I never once lost faith. I always believed in the outcome would be the one that we had prayed for. I have a strong faith in God, and I believed in Donald Trump, and I still do. And you have to understand also, like what you're saying about Obama, that's here too, and in such a degree. But the one thing is that that gives us kind of an opening for to be kind of leaders in the healing, is that you did go through it. We talked last time, there's going to be a worldwide sense of guilt and grief when people find out the truth. And, you know, I stopped going out of my way to convince those who refuse to see the truth, even though it's right in front of our faces, because they're going to have to see it for themselves. But when they do, and they will very soon, they will come to need people more that, like us, that are really spiritually based and God-centered, and that can kind of shed light on how to deal with the facts that are about to come to. You know, they did it this way. A little about what's going on right now in DC, from what I hear, is there will be obviously no inauguration, but Trump, I believe, did call the Insurrection Act. His job as president of the United States is to protect the people of the United States from enemies, foreign and domestic. Unfortunately, a lot of these enemies in America are domestic, and people have been fooled. Yeah. Obama was chosen by the cabal, and it's just a fact. And what he did to not just our country, but countries all over the world, in terms of pushing this great reset, working for the cabal, he never ever worked for the American people, you know. And and there's going to be that sense of grief. It'll be like a death for a lot of people. I mean, there's still.
How do you think they're going to disclose this? Sorry to interject this, sweetheart. How do you see this all being disclosed? Because there will be a certain amount that's going to be kept back, a lot, in fact, in terms of just how horrible it's been. But the big names have to get exposed. That's a must, because that's going to contribute to the mass healing and the mass exposure, right, and revelation to that. That is very much needed, Mel, because. Yeah. You know, and it's the children's stuff, even if it's not in its entirety, it will need to be exposed, because that is going to be bringing the coming of people. Because right now, everyone is just going into that cognitive dissonance, that, like, they're actually far removed. So where I saw just pre the 6th of January that people were starting to kind of come around about Trump, sort of, like, you know, starting to feel this lockdown, especially here in the UK, it was just a circus. That something doesn't smell quite right. So they were starting to inquire. And then what happened with the media, obviously, the media, who controls the media partially, is the CCP as well.
Well, more than partially. That's also, they control all of big tech. And it's not just the CCP. The CCP is teamed up with the UN, i.e. the central banking cabal. And, and they overplayed their hand. Yeah, they overplayed their hand. In the aftermath, when we were watching, I try not to watch, but when we were watching these people on the floor calling Trump a white supremacist, yelling down the Republicans, demanding that elected officials who are loved, like in our country, like Cruz and Jordan and Hawley, being called traitors, demanding that they get removed. It turns out it was all an act. They knew. They were in on it. They knew. And Pelosi and McConnell knew what was going to happen. So everything that they've said and everything the MSM has said is a lie, blatant lie. Yeah. Apparently, it turns out that not only did that John Sullivan from Insurrection Now, or Insurrection USA, who was involved in burning down many cities last summer, which seemed to be which again this week was a big wake up call, I think, for a lot of people, thinking, well, what about last summer? You know, now you're going to take Trump down. Last summer, he was begging to send in the National Guard. Yeah. But it turns out that CNN had a reporter embedded with them, and that they met a couple of hours prior, and that it was known, and it's on tape. Yeah. And they got them cold. And those laptops were the cherry on the icing on the cake.
Brilliant, yeah. Brilliant.
And, and the good and the best part is that we saw this past week the DHS head, Chad Wolf, stepped down. He was replaced by this man, Peter Gaynor, who is running FEMA. FEMA is our emergency system in America. Well, when we are in a state of emergency, which we are, also, Trump apparently behind the scenes has triggered that executive order on foreign interference, putting us even more in a state of emergency. And what the CCP and enemies, foreign and domestic, did to our country by stealing the election and many things that leading up to that is high treason. So so everyone that voted for it is going to prison, and that's really what's going on right now in DC. This isn't about the inauguration and Trump supporters. Trump supporters were never violent. We had 1.5 million people go to Trump rallies in the last year. There was zero violence. Yeah,
it's the media again. That's how they portrayed it here globally. So the likes of, obviously, you and I, we're doing the work, we're researching, we know the other narrative and the other rhetoric, but what's happening is those people that I said that were just about to sort of tip over and expand their thinking. They were like, you know what, Alpa, I'm done. I'm just done. You're full of crap, and this is nonsense. You know, things are never going to change. The pessimism was unreal. In the last few days, nearly allowed it to let me get me down, but no way. We've come so far. I mean, you know, that's just it. Everyone who's watching, who's been doing the work right up until now, and they think that this is it, it's too much. It's the darkest before dawn, you know. And we have to, this is what's really like testing our resolve internally. And I have more faith than ever now, because it's just like, oh my God, this is how it's supposed to be, like, unraveled. Like, I really do think that, you know, we'll have something right up until the inauguration. D-class will come out and all the revelations will be made, and then the election will be proven to be fraudulent, and that's what's going to happen. But of course, it began with the military, and it's going to finish with the military.
Yes. Absolutely. And also, certain things are happening. The president of the Ukraine came out and said that he's going to hold all the people accountable in the Ukraine who were involved in the US election meddling. He knows that the report came out. They all know what happened here. And you know what? It was a threat to the world, not a threat to America. Absolutely. Nobody can have America become a communist country run by the UN and CCP and the World Economic Forum, and they pushed it too far. They just pushed it too far. And also, I believe that the FCC finally has the power to pull the licenses of Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and this isn't just about what's going on now. This is about the COVID. Because I hear that there's plenty of evidence coming that they have already, that not only was COVID planned, bought, and paid for by Obama and others, but that also it's a flu, but that it was a bioweapon, and it was released on the world to fast track the Great Reset. The Great Reset was the next level enslavement of humanity. Past the debt slavery, it was going to be going to a technology AI slavery. And you know, that CERN and all the cabal in Switzerland, and they are behind it, but they were running out of money because of what was happening with the central banks being investigated finally. And they went into cahoots with the CCP, which was already in cahoots since the CCP basically took over the UN. But as you and I have discussed, the UN has always been their whole goal the entire time, gaslighted again to us, was a one world order. And the EU, obviously, was their first nation state. And thank God you guys got out. But now everyone's got to go. Italy, I heard Italy, Spain, they all got to go. These people are demonic, and they're demonically possessed, and they don't care about us. It's this, like I've been saying the whole time, the Davos crew, the Bilderberg crew. And then underneath, they do not care about us at all. And I've been saying, our like Boris Johnson, all these people, they're working, they're traitors in the worst sense of the word. The betrayal, the lies, and the truth is most of them are blackmailed and corrupt beyond measure, but also involved in the child trafficking situation. And if not involved in the cover up, because most of these attacks on Trump is really about hiding the information.
When that's exactly what it is. And that's what I was actually thinking, Mel. Like, even if they weren't like directly involved, if they're complicit, they're going to be done as well, aren't they? So even if they're overtly hiding about it, like they're going to be taken down as well, right?
But look at the BBC and Jimmy Savile. Everyone knew. And then the guy from the BBC comes in and starts running the New York Times. It's just, you can't even make it up. It's so crazy and diabolical.
This is it. I say to my friends, I go, Alpa, I know this stuff with child trafficking is really getting to you. I sympathize. You're a good person. I said, wake them up, because everything is connected to child trafficking. Everything. It was the most, and I hate putting it like this. I say this in every video. It was the most profitable business on the planet. On the planet, and everything is connected in the world. And you've got all the PMs stepping down. I heard today Angela Merkel is stepping in. I'm not sure how true that is, because
no, that is true. That is true.
And then the Dutch government, Estonian Prime Minister, Italian government on the verge of collapse. I just saw an article literally before we got on, so I was like, it's happening, because it literally is the takedown of the cabal. But this was done in 2017. As soon as Trump came into power, his first trip, you know, when he went to Saudi Arabia, and all the countries that he went, they all capitulated to him. And that was actually my awakening, to sort of see his trajectory post him coming into administration, and then following his footsteps, you know, thereafter. And then I saw like the fall of the cabal and all these programs about what actually happened. So it makes absolute sense that, you know, Trump is controlling everything in the world right now. He is by far the most powerful man on the planet.
And he's not alone. He really, the truth is that all of the people that he met with at that G20 in 2017 were shown the evidence of what is going on. It actually started, the route is from Wuhan and Shanghai all the way to Long Beach Port in California, and everywhere in between. And you know, it's not just child trafficking and sex trafficking, it's also like child warriors, like kids that are taken to fight these ridiculous, sickening terrorist wars. You know, it's organ trafficking. You know, all these people that are ignoring that there's millions of Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps, as bad, if not worse, than the Holocaust concentration camps. Mainly, when I say worse, I mean because of the technology that we have now. People have been ignoring it. A big disappointment this week, not disappointment, I'm not surprised, but first of all, the whole thing is a lie. There was no insurrection. Trump did not incite a riot. It was pre-planned. But that these banks and these corporations and this cancel culture, this deep person.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting. And we will find out that the real reason Trump did this was because he found out about what was going on with the children. And what I say to you, as you just said, I don't care if you participated in the child sacrifice and the rapes and murders and everything that went on at Epstein Island. If you were there, you're complicit. In America, if you are on the scene of a crime and let's say you're the getaway driver in a shooting situation, you are charged with murder, you know? And these are horrific crimes against humanity. Correct. And if you were there and didn't at all, you're guilty. And people say, you know, some people went to the island first of all, you know, that it's not just that island, it's islands, there's many of them, that Peter Nygaard's island's going to be exposed as one of them, and possibly Branson's too. But
that needs to be exposed, Mel. That really needs to be exposed. Everything about Hollywood, we can talk about that in a second, but just the stuff with all the businessmen, they need to be exposed. No one's made it organically, and there's none of this crap story that they portrayed in the, you know, mainstream media. Nothing. Even the Hollywood actors that, you know, all these people are worshipping that hate Trump, they don't realize they're supporting pedophiles. Right.
Not just pedophiles. People also, like, people like hold up George Clooney and Sean Penn and all these people. These people, as far as I hear, they're CIA ops, and they, you know, remember George Clooney with his whole thing in Sudan and all of that, and all he was pushing. You know, Sean Penn, Haiti, Venezuela, Cuba. You know, these people are all involved. There's this island network that they're all in on it. They're all in on it, including the Royals.
What do you think of his missus? Because I've met her, Clooney's missus, Amal. She's from London, right?
I know.
I actually thought this because I've heard about Clooney being an undercover CIA. Right. And I remember I worked in a spa back in 2012. I was helping a mate out at his spa in Notting Hill. And she was just a normie. She used to come in before she was even associated to George Clooney. And she used to come in for her facials. Right. And I remember I used to be like really strict with her. She was always used to like cancel, etc. So we got talking, and she just sounds like a normal lady. She was, I think she was studying at the time, or she was already a barrister. Right. And then I sort of thought about this. I thought she married him, and I thought she used to ask me to come out for drinks and stuff. So before I knew any about this, I was like, oh God, I wish I used to come out with her and, you know, join her, and I could have gone to her wedding or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But well, someone up there is always looking after you. All those
Right.
things that don't happen, it's because of that. Anyway, very long story short, I suddenly saw this person that I recognized. I used to chat to her on the phone, etc. And then suddenly she's married George Clooney, and then she went really skinny. I remember she turned into this complete drain pipe. She was beautiful, like she still is pretty, but once you get in there, it's almost like she's going to have to develop that cognitive dissonance. And did she get entrapped? Like, because she's a human rights barrister.
Right. But look at what she's done since Clooney. A lot of her human rights work changed, or she dropped cases. Remember, she was on the Assange case, you know. And the one thing I hear about her is that their marriage is no longer. I mean, it's not what it seems. But also, you know, something with that Casamigos deal, and there's a lot of very strange stuff that's happened with him, and you know, I think she's probably got entrapped like a lot of women do.
I mean, she was not, I know this before she even knew Clooney, she was just a normie, like, you know, coming in, having a chit chat, and I was talking to her about her gut health and all of this stuff, and her facial and stuff like that.
Story,
and, you know, and I really thought, oh, like, oh my God, that is just a normal person entrapped in this mess. So what you were saying earlier on, like, you've got Sadiq Khan here. People loved him initially, and then people also hated him as well, the mayor of London, and he's probably going to go into jail.
Oh, but he's also, I believe, going to be implicated in what happened to Diana. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there about him that hasn't been released.
Well,
I think he's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
I never liked him. I know something, you know, he's got this saying in Hindi, right? Saying, dal mein kuch kala hai, meaning there's a little black stone in a pot of like dal. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with that pot. And he's never seemed authentic to me. But again, you know, Asian that's come on board, like in Parliament and government, you know, there's just a progression, you know, diversity, all of that jazz. So people become and remain ignorant to the reality.
Well, I look at the whole diversity thing as a psyop, as a gaslighting. Diversity isn't our strength. What we have in common is our strength. It's all their inversion, the satanic Luciferian inversion, pushing the diversity. You know, to me, it's been the most divisive thing of all.
100%. Brilliant point. Yeah.
Last week we have Nancy Pelosi, out there saying that the patriots chose their whiteness over democracy. What? You know what I mean? And then Joe Biden saying that in the next stimulus, he's going to give help to everyone but white male-owned businesses. You know, they're saying this out loud. It is a complete psyop. They don't care about the Black community or the LGBT community. They are using them as because look at who's saying it. It doesn't make any sense. And but also it's to divide. It's to cause, you know, Joe Biden saying the minute he comes in, he's going to give reparations. Well, there's not one human alive that owned slaves. And like I'd like to say about America, we were the first country that made it illegal. 500,000 people died to fight to free the slaves. And yet everyone in America is demonized as having white privilege or being like somehow responsible, when no, I mean, especially in the North, 500,000 young men died to end slavery. We were the first country on the planet, a very young country, to make slavery illegal and a crime that you could be put to death for. And to bring it back now, I'll remember, you know, I like Kanye and I knew him, and I actually ended my run at SNL the night that they screwed him when he came on. He made a deal with them that if he came on, he could say his piece at the end of the show. They pretended I worked there, they pretended all during the rehearsal that they were going to let him. And then the minute he started to speak, they cut to commercial. And I saw that and I just thought, and I was sick of it already. I couldn't stand working with Alec Baldwin and stuff. And
what's the deal with Alec Baldwin at the moment? Have you seen this? Absolutely. I saw So there's people that I know, and they've interviewed Alec Baldwin just a couple of weeks ago. They're not involved or anything. They're just, you know, these life coaches that think that, oh my God, we're interviewing a Hollywood star. So this is what's happening as well. And some people that I know that are doing well with roles of coaches or, you know, personal, whatever it is that they're doing. And they are absolutely in awe of some of these Hollywood celebrities that they're still aligning with. And they're openly supporting Biden. And I'm just like, I don't think you lot are bad, or are you? And Alec Baldwin looks like a demon just by his eyes. And then he's the one who started, you know, slating the whole Pizzagate thing and just that mockery. Well, okay, surely if there is this,
maybe he can explain to us what he was doing on Epstein Island on satanic ritual weekends. It's very easy to, if you look at the flight logs and you look at the satanic calendar, it's very easy to tell who was there for the Eyes Wide Shut satanic ritual weekends. I mean, you know, Stanley Kubrick, as good or bad as he was, tried to out them a long time ago and got murdered for it. And, you know, shortly after that, Nicole Kidman, whose father was very involved in the Australian satanic ritual abuse and the satanic circles, came out after Kubrick was murdered and said, Kubrick said that Hollywood is run by satanic pedophiles.
She's messed up as well, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Nightmare.
I mean, look how she's remained looking young as well. Like, you know, now everything makes sense, Mel.
Yeah. Hello, adrenochrome.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, well, I worked for someone I won't say, but it's not hard to find out, who was also on the island. I was very close with her. I saw what happened to, you're saying Amal, happened with her. She started dating a very powerful man in Hollywood who basically gave her her career, made her career, and I believe she paid the price. And she will also go down for being on Epstein Island at the wrong times. But then you have to look, the next level is who hung out with Marina Abramovich, okay? Spiritual is the most repulsive, disgusting, evil thing that is I've ever heard of. And these people were fully involved and knew what they were doing, okay? So the Marina Abramovich gang, they're coming for you. I believe a lot of them are already gone, but we're talking also to connect to the Standard Hotel. These are things that were dismissed as conspiracy theories. They are not conspiracy theories, okay? And that's good. This is where I think the next level, this is where, you know, I look forward to moving forward in the journey with you and and Catherine and some of the other people, because it's going to be very hard to even imagine that, you know, women were involved. Because there are a lot of
Gaga, Ellen DeGeneres, Beyonce, Madonna.
Yep. And I heard when I heard that Joe Biden was going to have Lady Gaga, the priestess of the satanic cult, sing the national anthem, I thought in my heart, there's no way that's happening. That would just be saying to Satan, you won, and he didn't win, God won. But no, you'll be surprised, because I actually, when I was in LA, because I was dealing with those people. I mean, you'd be surprised. It was devastating when I found out how many people I knew that went to the island. I mean, really.
It's awful. But look at the way the Epstein story has been portrayed. I couldn't even watch it. I haven't watched it, but I'm.
No, it's bogus, whitewashed.
The night, on Netflix. So even what they've done with Osho. So anything on Netflix now is not going to be an honest depiction of the truth. And because it's just all cabal run. But there's this, I'm not sure how familiar or affair you are with the Bollywood industry. And I really want to get to the bottom of what's going on there. I know that it's going to emulate what's happened in Hollywood because they've all been satanically run. And I've heard murmurs of things that's happened there. So let's take Isaac Kappy and his story. There was someone that was also very well known in India, same as Isaac Kappy, on the same level within his career, and he got suicided. And apparently he had discovered like the what's called the Butcher Boys and the boy gang that were all being, I don't want to get explicit, but being abused, you know, with all this child sex trafficking stuff and the adrenochrome. And I was in one way, and this sounds really ignorant on my part, but I was heartbroken as well, that also my people as well that would be responsible. But India has been very heavily satanically run, and people don't even realize that. You know, you've got the big players, the big industrialists that are all governed by the cabal.
Right.
And you know, they're all been exposed, and somebody has been speaking to me about to the level, and I was absolutely shocked. So there was that parallel, and then you've got another actress that had the same sort of death and ending to her life, like Whitney Houston. So something to do with the bath, you know, dying in the bath and being found out. So they had a specific way in which they died. So Whitney Houston was in her bath, same as this lady.
Sacrificed. And her daughter, the same day, the same way, a year later.
Yeah.
And everyone just left it at that. Well, that's a big problem in Hollywood, is that the police and the FBI and everything are completely complicit. Yeah. That's one of the biggest problems. Also, I hear, compared to Hollywood and even India, Australia is infiltrated big time.
Badly.
And, yeah, it's going to be sad because, you know, some of the people that haven't been talked about are, at least in Hollywood and in our sports. It's also in the sports.
Yes.
As it's
Serena Williams is not a lady, is she? Oh, is she? Oh, sorry, did I say that really badly?
I don't know. It seems. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because it's like the whole Michelle Obama thing, and like, you know, in all of this, I read that about her because we're getting the sports.
So did I. We don't know. And what's crazy is, look at how many of these celebrities have transgender children.
Exactly.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Warren Beatty, and Annette Bening. Everyone seems to have one. You know, and this wasn't.
Who's it with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie? I've missed that one.
They have one. She's not transgender. She's gay at a very young age. But
which one is it?
It's their actual birth child, Shiloh.
Shiloh, no way.
Yeah. So it's just very odd that it looks like all these big stars have one child that is gender whatever, fluid. Yeah. You call it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying it's very odd that it became so commonplace when it wasn't, you know, and what are they doing? It looks like, you know, they're allowing them to go on these demonic puberty blockers and all of this that are so they're like, to me, it's a whole, once you're in the cabal, you're in it. Like, and there is no way out, but
I think Brad is done, hasn't he? He's been done. He's been arrested, right? He's really involved.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with a lot of these people, especially as you notice. I was told a long time ago, if you didn't start in Hollywood very, very young, your odds of making it were, you know, slim to none. And now I realize why that was. But the sad part that's going to come out is a lot of these people, when tried, a lot of them have been already tried and gone, but they're going to say that they were abused, and they were. Yeah. This is a grooming situation, you know, and a lot the pedophilia in Hollywood is off the charts, but it's been for decades.
Yeah, and that they've known nothing but that, you know, that's. If we look at the psychology of this and just sort of remove the emotions here, from birth, they have gone into this. And so they don't know any different. Right. Yeah? So children who've just gone straight into that, being abused from such a young age. And, you know, we know how horrifically this goes. It just goes on to some wacky, crazy stuff that's happened. And it's just you can't even just put your head around it. But I was thinking,
incredibly sad.
It's very sad. What did they know? What else did they know? So they were groomed. They were abused, they were groomed, and they were sort of taught that this is okay. So in effect, they've just been groomed to be narcissists and sociopaths.
Psychopaths, you know.
So just that level of deception. I mean, all this stuff about J-Lo that came out, you know, that she's also part of this transgender, that, you know, she's actually, I mean, wow, I love J-Lo, you know, I love her.
Well, people didn't also didn't know that for many years she was in Scientology. Scientology is an offshoot of this entire Aleister Crowley Church of Satan. You know, LaVey, who started the church in Hollywood, he apparently was very good friends with like Nancy Pelosi's father. You know, it goes back so far. And, you know, also the Getty family, the very big in Hollywood. You know, there's a lot of rumors about that Getty Museum you know, being under an underground situation like Epstein Island, which I find that that's quite possible. I did when I was younger. I used to go there, and right when it was built, I wouldn't be surprised. But you know, and then we find out also that basically Hugh Hefner was the same thing as Epstein. So he was blackmailing people and filming them all these years. But when when I was in LA, I did you know, there was a weird dynamic there with recovery. There were a lot of people in AA and NA and would go in and out of recovery and stuff. A lot of these people, okay, that, you know, no matter what, it seemed like they could not get sober. They could not get their shit together with all the money and all the stuff and everything that they could have. They could have sober coaches or this and that. Those are people to look at as well. But the problem is that, I mean, I'm sure Ghislaine Maxwell is going to also be using that she was abused. And if and where, whatever, with the Rachel Chandler ever comes about, same. Allison Mack from NXIVM still hasn't been tried.
No.
And the NXIVM case is completely connected to all of this. And the NXIVM
is so pivotal in this, because it was a case.
NXIVM was running those schools, and that people gave their kids at 6 months to NXIVM's school.
That's correct. Yeah.
And by the time the kids were given back, if they were given back, they were completely shattered to the core. You know, and you live with this tremendous guilt and shame, and then you create a persona on top of it. And, you know, that's, but at what point do you have free will? You know, at what point do you know that you're, you know, what you're doing is wrong? You know, most of the people that get out of it, they say that if they didn't find, you know, God or Jesus, or, you know, didn't have some kind of tragedy that snapped them out of it, you know, there's some brave soldiers out there. Yeah.
It's a dream spell. I mean, I think this is the same that's happened with the Madeleine McCann case.
Right.
You know, the imagery, the sketches of the potential people that have abducted her resemble very much the Podesta brothers.
Right. And don't forget, Lucian Freud lived right by there, and right by that place in Portugal. Wow. Madame McCann had that thing in her eye, that weird like drop in her eye that made her some kind of special person in these Hivite, you know, Babylonian weird thing. She was blonde hair, blue eyes. And, you know, I remember when Trump said that somebody was saved in Peru, and it was a big deal. He did a press conference that some woman was saved in Peru, and what had happened to her was horrific. And I know that it was a big military operation. I don't know if it was Madeleine McCann.
Oh my God, yeah, because there's a lot about that she is alive.
Oh, it might have been Natalie Holloway, but these two cases, that case of Madeleine McCann hasn't gone away for a reason.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Back. And the creepiest part is Anderson Cooper, you know, his mother was the high priestess of the satanic witches. He's had a picture of Madeleine McCann and of these little girls. The other one, who's the other one in the girl, the little beauty queen girl in America? JonBenet Ramsey. Like you know, there's pictures of him with the pictures of them. It's just very strange that JonBenet Ramsey has some kind of connection to all of this too. Her father worked for Raytheon, and the mother, and don't forget, they were in Boulder, Colorado. Wow. A lot of this satanic stuff leads to Boulder, Colorado in America. You know, all I'm saying is whatever, you know, we'll be on the forefront of this, and anyone, you know, this is open source information. They'll Google, hit it. A lot of it is out there, but everything about Epstein Island is on
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, but it is recorded. The good thing about good thing. Epstein Island, his Palm Beach house, you know, I live right near it. My parents live right near where he was in Palm Beach. I will tell you right now that he was not part of that society. He certainly was not friends with Donald Trump. He was a member of the club. This is the problem with all these stupid Donald Trump stories. If they could prove any of them, they would have.
Yeah.
You know, so exactly. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
No, me too.
Yeah. And he didn't prey on the people in Palm Beach. He preyed on the poor kids that lived in Royal Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, that had trailer parks and stuff. Yeah. And, you know, to bring them over there and everything that happened, and then how it got swept under the rug. But his house in Palm Beach, New York City mansion, and the worst, the Mexico place, God forbid you get stuck in that New Mexico ranch. I can't even imagine. But he taped everything on CCTV, but he kept it analog. He never upgraded to digital. So nobody can say that the tapes from Epstein Island aren't real. They're totally real. And that's one thing. I also hear that this Nygaard's Island is loaded with cameras and stuff. And if you look at who went there, the same people that went to Epstein Island.
Just a quick question. We were just saying about the women that are involved, which is disgusting. I mean, the whole thing is disgusting. The future of Hollywood is completely gone. That's for sure.
I agree.
But that's only when the full public disclosure occurs. And that is really important, that there is some big case, you know, within the political system, medical. So you're going to have Fauci in the medical, you know, political pharma. Who is it, do you think, in the media fraternity, the Hollywood fraternity, that will get the public disclosure? And that has to, so that people then can really begin to see and open their eyes to see just how deep this goes. And then they'll start obviously doing their own research, but one big mass public arrest or disclosure needs to happen in its entirety, I think.
Well, I believe that all roads of the satanic cabal in Hollywood lead to one big agency with three letters. There's an agency. I'm scared to say it because I feel like they'll kill me. There's an agency in LA, CIA, and it was. That's why I'm undercover. But if you look at the images of, so when I was there, I actually knew Mike Ovitz and his family. He started CAA. He was ousted because he was too normal. And he wrote it. There was an article many years ago about the gay mafia taking over Hollywood. These guys are at the top of CAA, the biggest agency there. Well, they built this in Century City, this new office complex. Right. If you look at this office complex from above on Google Maps, you will see the Eye of Horus. You will see all kinds of satanic symbolism. They threw a party, an Alice in Wonderland party in Sundance one year with big white rabbits and Alice in Wonderland. It was the creepiest thing. Everyone that was there was horrified. They were showing like sexually explicit stuff. Every single one of those women that came out with this fake Me Too and it ends now are clients of, look at who the clients are. The clients of that organization are all seem to tie to Epstein Island. Also, the other thing about that whole story is that they took over Hollywood to such an extreme. You really couldn't get anywhere without being a part of this. I mean, there's 3 agencies, but I'm telling you, most of the people that will end up in a lot of trouble, they're with that particular agency.
What comes at this? No. Because there's some party in New York that I saw that the Beckhams were at, but it wasn't this one. I remember, because I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on about the Beckhams as well. That's a difficult one because they portray themselves to be.
I know, the ultimate, I've always thought that she was shady as could be. I just, like you said earlier, you know, I went to NYU, went to film school, did the right thing, got jobs, worked, but there was always just something. And it was like, at the very end of the day, you think you're going to get something or you're going to sell this or that. And then it goes to the same person that it always goes to. And then you're told, well, they got it because they can bring in money. Yeah. But now that I look back, you know,
it all makes sense. Yeah, because I've had a bit of a stint at media myself, but a bit of TV presenting, modeling and all of that back in 2000, right up until 2008, when I realized
that was the same years as me. Right.
Yeah, well, you know, look at our connection, you know, and then so I followed academia, went to university, and then I did, like, got asked to do a lot of this modeling for Asian magazines. And then I started doing some mainstream. I used to go for mainstream commercials, but I would never quite get it. But I was always told because of my height. And then I'd be like, well, why did you call me for the, audition? But they needed a mix, but then it always went to the same group of girls, right?
So it was like always.
Yeah. And then, I mean, so I left it all back then, and I just thought, this was nice. There's a balance between sort of my corporate world and then doing a bit of, presenting on the side, etc. And then I just went, oh my God, I don't even know, like even the film roles that I, auditioned for, I'd never get them.
Right. And I was the same, but it would be like, call back. So I was, and then it would always go to the same person. And I always knew there's a couple out there that are, you know who they are. Like somebody, I don't know what her involvement is. She's with the agency and she gets show after show after show messing. And she's the biggest Trump hater. She pretended to be a Me Too. She is with that agency. She's always in the front lines of every kind of New World Order movement. And she's done show after show after show after show. And one worked, of course, that tried to make like LGBT mainstream. But on top of that, people were always like, why? And then even with the show that I worked on after I stopped doing in front of the camera and started doing production and more of that, she too was one of those people people who were like, there's so many people that it doesn't make any sense.
No.
And that boss got to deal with Netflix for $50 million out of nowhere. And people are like, what is going on? Then starts making shows about white privilege and all this. And it's all connected to this. They're part of it. And, all these people coming out. Think about all the celebrities that came out about the World Health Organization.
Yes.
They had that big fundraiser, that big event. We're going to find out that was all a depopulation eugenics agenda. And it was a crime against humanity. And they are all complicit, in my opinion.
You know Priyanka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Priyanka, she was massive in the Bollywood film industry. And then she became even bigger when she went and worked in Hollywood. And then she started getting all the shows.
I know.
And then she's
married to.
And so do you think there's a connection there for sure with her, with all of this?
Well, I just think that there's her husband started as a very young kid, and I just look at the age that people started and their trajectory and who they're around. And it's just,
you just follow the formula.
It's very, very scary. My mentor happened to marry Beyonce's mother not that long ago. And all I kept thinking was, as everything was coming out and I was learning more and more about Jay-Z and Beyonce and their role in what's going on with the OTO and the satanic world out there.
Look at her daughter's name.
Yeah.
Blue Ivy, spell that backwards.
I know.
Yeah, Beyonce is going to shock. I think she might be a big name because she's a priestess herself, right?
Yeah, she's real. She's really in. Well, like I said, all you have to do is look at who's pals with Marina Abramovich, and you'll know who's in the cult.
Yeah,
she's a cult leader. She's a cult leader. Period. And her best pal, Andre Balaz. Don't think that people that say that Standard Hotel isn't real. Well, there's a tunnel under Standard Hotel right to Chateau Marmont. And if you've ever been to Chateau Marmont, there is no doubt that there is some nefarious stuff underneath that.
Of course. Yeah. So you've got Oprah, you've got the hoteliers, you've got all the Hugh Hefners, like you said, the tunnels, the underground tunnels. I mean, I don't think people are going to get this much information because I don't know how far they will go. But I really, really pray that a big celebrity, a big politician that has public disclosure to the extent, because then it will all make sense to the world. And just wrapping up, because I know we're
gonna know about. Listen, people can sit out there and say what they want. Tom Hanks and Will Smith are done.
Oh my God! Will Smith went to India, right? To this guy that I really love, Sadhguru, right? And the other day he came out and he's brilliant. He's like a really hip, like not not like Osho or, you know, what's the other one? Ravi Shankar. And oh God, I was going to slip my mind. But anyway, any of these conventional gurus, he's really fun. He does like so many fun things. He does so much for the environment, and his disciplines are brilliant. And I've been to his center in Cambridgeshire in India for 4 days. And then when all of this came up, and then Will Smith did like a bit of a documentary with him, I was like, no, not Sadhguru, because I've personally experienced, like, he doesn't talk about all of this. And then he spoke.
Think about how many people followed John of God, you know?
Yeah. But no, and then he came out and said, and publicly showed support for Kamala Harris and Biden. And I thought, you know, because he said as well, one of his, in his Youth and Truth question and answers, one of them asked, they said, Sadhguru, all of this stuff about the Illuminati and blah, blah, blah.
I liked him too.
Huh?
That's a shame.
You know Sadhguru?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, no, but and then he said, listen, no, because he's talked about the Freemasonry, and then he said, I'm not about. He goes, no, I'm not in. See, this is the thing we need to learn and decipher, because a lot of celebrities are going to align with gurus that are good, even if they are good, because it does their sort of public kudos good, right? But the fact that so he says specifically, I'm not a part of this and no one has bought me. And then at the end of it, he said, anyway, ultimately, Donald Trump is controlling everything. So that gave me a bit of peace in my heart. But then 2 days ago, I saw a post where he said, well, you know, well done to Biden and Kamala. You have my congratulations. What does that mean?
That doesn't mean, see, here's my thing. There were certain people who did that that are playing a role, you know, right now. You know, there are certain people that are being presented as traitors that aren't, and vice versa.
And I don't think he is.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't mean, look, if I'm Will Smith, I'm doing anything I can to cleanse my soul, you know.
And he's done, again, right? Will Smith's done.
Yeah, but when people find out, like, these are the people that people idolize, you know, really idolize. Another horrible person is LeBron James, and you know, there's billions of children that grew up idolizing him, you know. And
with Will Smith, just briefly before we go, because I didn't follow.
Well, you know, Will Smith is he's complicit in all of it. He's whatever you've heard about Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it's the same. You know. Same, MS-13. Wow. Yeah, I mean, look, this is all coming to a head, and this is going to be this show is going to just go crazy, because, you know, this is a lot of what people need to hear, some form of healing, but there needs to be a certain amount of knowledge that the revelation about this, because it's important.
Well, a lot of people, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people, you know, what our I think our journey ahead is about forgiveness and healing. There's going to be universal guilt and universal grief and all of this. Nobody wants to see their heroes fall in such a way, but fall in terms of knowing that all these years you idolized evil, true evil. So to me, I think right now it's just keeping the positive vibe, keeping the door open. And, you know, people are going to say, no, not true. Well, you know what? I wish it wasn't true.
Yeah, I wish we didn't wake up one morning and just say, whoa, let's just have a do a bit of character assassination for, say, Tom Hanks one morning or whatever. No one wants to do it. We don't want to defame anyone. That's just not something that we wake up and think.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but also, did you notice that they said that Tom Hanks was hosting the
Tom Hanks and Gaga? Yeah, but he's gone though. Tom Hanks is gone. Yeah.
No. This is the ultimate. Just.
What are your expectations now leading up to the next? We've got what, 5 days, Mel, and what are you speculating? Because
I mean, just my opinion is I think that FEMA, Michael Flynn and Chris Miller have taken over the entire military tribunal is kicking in. I think Trump already passed the Insurrection Act, kicked in the foreign election interference executive order.
That's brilliant.
Which also takes property too. And, you know, we found out yesterday that the biggest landowner in America happens to be Bill Gates, who, of course, his goal would be to create a famine. So, you know, I look forward to his demise is the one that I think is the most important. We need everything that him and everything that they sold to the CCP needs to be taken back by our government. The fact that they allowed the CCP and Bill Gates to be the biggest landowners in America is terrifying, because that has only one implication, and that is famine, because their whole push for like no more animals, no more farming, it's all connected. It is so evil, you know. So yeah, I think that there's going to be mass arrests. I do. I hope and I pray.
The inauguration, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, well, I hear that the inauguration is not true. Also, to anyone that's watching, that watches in America, that is a patriot or supporter of Trump or any of that, do not go to DC. Do not go to DC. DC right now is for traitors and criminals and deep state swamp monsters. There is no reason that we should fall into this trap again, because if they had told Donald Trump the intel they got from the FBI and the NYPD, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, and a lot of other people knew about what was going to happen, he might have called it off. Okay. They set him up, and they're going to set you up. Do not, if you're a patriot, go there. We're going to find out that a lot of these arrests that are happening, they're not saying it on the mainstream media, are not patriots. And this weekend is, I mean, the inauguration and this weekend, no patriot that is really God-loving, country-loving, and Trump-supporting should be in the Capitol. That is in any way protesting or riots. You know, it's just, we can't let them. They did it. They did it on the 6th. They set us up, and we can't let it happen again. We got to be smarter.
100%. Mel, look, it's been amazing. Same time next week.
I know. I can talk to you for 4 days, but I think people would.
I'm going to put your details. I think I found you've got your YouTube channel now as well, haven't you? So
yeah, I have Charlie helped me.
Yes, well, I know. That's what I wanted to speak to you about. Was that I'll help you do that. So just let me know. I'll do it for you. But yeah, so it's
the Mel K Show.
The Mel K Show.
And since I got kicked off of Twitter after all my hard work.
I know. I've been so many people after our very first one and the second one were asking where they can find you. So I was directing them on BitChute. So it's important that I say this, because you know what, I really want, like, I've wanted to crack into the Asian community, not for any sort of, personal glorification. Both of us, right? If we wanted to be famous, and we would have easily gone led that way. It's not about
that. My God, are you so grateful?
I am too, seriously. And I'm just thinking, I'm so grateful to be awake right now and to understand what's going on. But it is so narrow-minded in India at the moment. I'm not saying people are asleep; they're afraid to say anything because the corruption is so big there, and you get killed. You just get killed. They'll silence you. Politics is the most corrupt, and has been. And I know Modi and Trump are really good, buddies. But like this is, I'm starting to get people as well there messaging me from India and saying, Alpa, you're very brave what you're doing here. If we would even do that, we'd just be shamed by our communities and whatever. I mean, it's not far.
Well, that's honestly, I haven't shared until like this week, actually, because I saw you share, because I got cut off Twitter. I felt so disconnected. And I saw you sharing so bravely on Facebook and a couple other people I admire. Yeah. And I just thought,
I'm in jail though right now. So it's very likely that Facebook, I'm going to go back on tomorrow and I'm just going to go, what did I miss?
Everybody's been in jail, but I didn't share on there ever anything about any of this because I was scared that I would never ever get hired again doing anything, because that's all I know is filmmaking and production and all of that and journalism, and I was but I believe that it doesn't matter anymore, and whatever will be now. And I started a because I need to talk all the time and I have no Twitter anymore, and I'm still going to be Facebook, but I'm going to be more supportive and put out real information. But I started themelkshow.com. So if anyone wants to email me or get in touch with me, I'm available, but you have to go there.
So you've got your own email list through your website, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. You know what? There's going to be some probably lives that I'd like to do as well with an Indian audience once all of this kind of starts coming out, and you'll be brilliant for it. Okay, so
well, we'll have a whole new. Let me tell you something. When we get past this, you and me and all the people that have been collected in our group, you know, that we're so blessed. I'm so blessed for you and for all of you, Charlie, everyone, and Mark. They can't say enough. Nick, everyone, and you know, we have a real spiritual connection, all of us, to everyone that's been brought together. And the great part is, after Trump is inaugurated and we go to the next phase, we can do any, we can share, we've been sharing hope and faith in God and Trump, and stick with it and don't give up. But in the next phase, we can share so much more. You know, you're very spiritual. You have a lot of knowledge of a lot of different things. It'll be fun to like start helping people heal in different ways. And I look forward to that next phase when
I can't wait. And I know I've got a big journey ahead with you. I know for a fact, Mel, that you and I have a big journey ahead. This is just.
I know, me too. I love you so. Just I see your face and I think, oh, it's a real connection. It's a true connection, and how lucky. And it came at such a strange time. And I said to you last week, this is going to be the week that's going to test us.
Yeah, and you did. You did. Yes, you did. Yes, now I remember. God, you didn't want to
stay strong.
You know, like, just on a final thought, a lot of my friends used to call me Dory from Finding Nemo. Because I just don't remember the
my mom too used to say that. Do you know the story of Dory?
It's and I was just like, what was that? Like, you know, some of my shows, what are you talking about? And then I just like forget. I honestly feel that's divine, you know, intervention with me a lot. Well, it has to be, you know.
Right, me too.
Everything. But same time next week.
Okay, I love you and I adore you, and you are such a gift. You are such a gift to so many, and such a ray of light. And I will see you next Friday. And if I find out anything before, I'll let you know.
Email.
I will. Okay, love you. Have a great day. Bye, everyone. Thank you.